Nick Phillips is our next recipient. Since I first met Nick as a student in Introduction to Public Relations, I've been reading his stories in the Tangerine. As a sports reporter for the Tangerine, Nick writes interesting stories about various teams, and his critiques are spot on. Nick is also a Super Bowl celebrity at the Tangerine. For the past 4 years, he has written Super Bowl predictions that have left many thinking he has powers. A prognosticator, perhaps? He's proud of the tradition he started at the Tangerine, which has become his legacy. As a student, Nick is inquisitive. He asks interesting questions and can always be relied upon to provide thought-provoking responses. It then encouraged more active discussion from the class. There is no doubt that Nick loves sports. At WPNR, he is the sports director. This semester, he's interning as a production assistant at 95.5 FM, The Heat, and its segment named Hot Seat. For a guy who is always calm and easygoing, I highly doubt Nick will ever be on a hot seat anywhere. Congratulations, Nick.
So Nick, why don't you tell me about your award?
So I run a writing award here for my time at Utica University. Throughout my time here, I've worked for the Tangerine since my sophomore year. I did a couple voluntary stuff my freshman year, but when I got to my sophomore year, I became the sports reporter, and the last 3 years I've worked closely with Mary Christopher and the rest of the staff there, and so I just really made an effort to get my writing skills better and just become a better writer. And throughout that time, I've won this award actually twice. Now I won it my sophomore year here as well, and so just RSI, I've won a couple awards with them. I won a different one a couple months ago, and just, yeah, I've done a lot of great work that they've honored me for so far here at Utica. So I'm here with Grace Christopher. Grace, you won the RSI Tangerine Excellence Award.
Yes.
Can you talk about what your contribution has been to the Tangerine since you've been here at Utica?
Yeah, so I was always interested in joining the Tangerine. My mom's the advisor, so for a good, almost 10 years of my life, I always heard about the Tangerine, what was going on, and I transferred into Utica fall of 2024, so I knew it was something I wanted to do. And I think I just love how students are free to express themselves in a lot of ways. Like, I love makeup, so I've written a few stories about my reviews and different things, so I love the freedom. I love being able to be a voice on campus and writing about some of the different things going on or important issues. I think it's always good to, keep the campus informed and things, and I think it's really a nice addition to our campus, and I'm thankful we have it.
Do you have an article that you've written in the past since your time here at Utica that you've been exceptionally proud of that you want to talk about?
Probably my first article I've ever written. There was alumni on campus that were part of the radio station from, I think, 1968 to 1972, so kind of way back when. And I've always I've always loved media from that time, so I think talking to people that were part of the radio station and reported what was going on around campus at that time, I just thought it was really cool. And they talked for almost an hour and a half, and that being my first interview, that was a very long time, and I definitely learned a lot on how to, again, pick out the important things and condense things. And yeah, I would say that's my favorite and the one I'm most proud of.
What do you like about writing in media, in reporting?
So for me, it kind of started as sports. I've always really liked sports since I was a kid, but I kind of knew I wanted to do something with them, but I didn't know really what. And I've always been creative. I remember being in third grade, and I remember I got detention, and I just sat there one day, and I started writing about this fox who was at an amusement park. I forgot how I got the idea for it. I just started writing it, and all of a sudden I had a 50-page mini book almost of this fox. And ever since then, I feel that was when I really started learning my love for writing. And so it started with like creative writing. Like I always liked writing about stories that I experienced, like from my first-hand perspective, and then from there I got more into more journalistic writing. So once I got here, I started. I had a media writing class with Mary Christopher, and I started learning how to write not only sports but feature stories. And from there, I started off writing sports with the Tangerine, some Super Bowl articles, but I also covered stuff like when they closed the downtown center, more like feature news. So can you describe what the Ray Simon Institute is and what the impact of the Institute is on Utica University?
Yes, so the Ray Simon Institute was founded in honor of Ray Simon. And Ray was a true pioneer for Utica University, then Utica College. He started the public relations program here and public relations education in the United States, really. And then once he retired, the RSI was formed in his honor, sort of like an alumni organization that helps the current students at Utica University. And like awards and scholarships were established for students in the communication and media program. And it's like for alumni to be able to connect with current students, whether it be just mentoring or maybe helping with internships, things like that. So it's like a association to help current students stay connected with alumni.
So you're the advisor of the Tangerine, the on-campus newspaper here on campus. Can you kind of describe to our audience who may not be familiar about what the Tangerine is?
Yes, so the Tangerine is Utica University's student newspaper. We're as old as the university. We started in 1946 with the then college. And we print bi-weekly now. It used to be weekly, but now bi-weekly. But we're a full digital, as you know, digital publication and operate online with social media platforms and things. And we cover news on campus, and of course features and sports too. But hoping to cover like the big news stories is more like our wheelhouse. We go after those stories.
So what advice would you have for someone who's a student, a high school student, maybe who's considering coming to Utica University for this?
Well, I'd say get in touch with the different media outlets here, whether it's TV with Laura Lewin, whether your passion is broadcasting sports with Doug Croft, writing with Mary Christopher. I think the most important thing you can do here is get involved with one of the outlets. We're so fortunate as a school to have all of these different outlets here firsthand that you can just take a one-credit practicum and get real world experience to help you set up for an internship, set up for a job outside of here. So I remember being a freshman here, and the advisor at the time, David Chinatry, who's no longer here, but he was a former NBC producer. I remember him telling me my freshman year that you got to get involved with the Tangerine. A lot of these big guys like Stephen A. Smith, these guys on TV, they got their start with journalism. So he was like one of the first guys to tell me to get involved with there, and it just was an opportunity that I pursued. So I tell people to, I give people the same advice that he once gave me when I was a freshman.
This is Ron Klopfenstein. Meet me in the Hot Seat every Monday at 5 p.m. for Hot Seat Media Mondays on 95.5 FM, The Heat.